Leather sofas were expensive, sometimes not comfortable, many times not comfortable. Well designed, but not comfortable. And the color, they were all black, blue, and brown. There was no color in leather. So that young fellow at that time tried to bring a different style that he called visual comfort. You looked at the product and you could see how that product wanted to be seated. It was comfortable. That was the visual comfortable. Great comfort to products. Then he brought value for money from a small town in Apulia, the deep south of Italy. He was doing affordable products. And the third point was color. He gave color, he gave to the leather color. So the market went crazy at that time, and that's what we call the Natuzzi style. At that time, the Natuzzi style drove the growth of a small laboratory into a big industry. So in the 70s, we see the rise of a company that in Apulia was hiring new people, was building and growing a new family of that we call Natuzzi quality people, the Natuzzi family that nowadays counts over 6,000 people. And then after that, growing as a company, growing as a brand, we knew what could have meant to be global. From a small town, we were selling in America, in the United States, in the UAE, in China, in Brazil, everywhere in the world, learning new culture, learning new desires, new needs, new ideas, even new styles. So the brand was growing, the company was getting global. So as a milestones of this company, I want to really address the three main changes of a small company into a wider and broader and bigger company. So the first one is when we understood that from Apulia, from that small town, we could not be any more affordable. We could not be any more competitive because Chinese were coming in the market, because Malaysia and other companies could have made that product pretty much the same, unfortunately copying sometimes. They could have done maybe the same comfort, maybe, but for sure they could have done something more affordable. So the mission of giving value for money, of being, in some case, too much affordable, was not any more appropriate. So we understood that we should have started to invest in a brand. I mean, I was talking today with Emmanuel, and Emmanuel told me, I was explaining how sometimes when you want to grow your brand and you have to distribute your brand, you need to have some partners. And in this industry, it's very, to me, tough and difficult to talk about a brand, because a brand needs consistency. A brand needs great respect. A brand needs great love and passion for it. And if you are called Pasquale Junior Natuzzi, and in the signage of your store you read Natuzzi, maybe it's easier. If your name is Emanuel Ruffo and you want to run a store that is called Natuzzi, maybe Emanuel wants to do with Natuzzi his own brand. So in that case, you understand how talking about brands in this industry is not the easiest thing. It's actually a big challenge. But we understood how that should have been the biggest challenge: build a brand. So after that, we understood that building a brand with a nice product, with a nice communication, with a nice visual, with a nice actually experience with the brand was not actually enough at that time, because we had to distribute those brands. And so we understood how the retail brand, the control of each store, the control of the experience within each store, of the selling ceremony, when you get in a store and you drink a nice glass of water, but it's San Pellegrino water. And when you drink coffee, it's an Italian coffee. And when you look around in a store, you see a nice picture of Apulia, which is where we come from. So we understood how we had to start running our own store, the retail, the experience, the retail experience, the selling ceremony. And nowadays, now we are to the point that we need to really differentiate our brand from the others. And there are so many good players in the industry. There are so many great manufacturers that nowadays, if you guys, today, tomorrow, in 10 years from now, you would want to buy a sofa, a nice chair, a nice piece of furniture, a bed or whatever, I believe that you need to find that brand close to you. That lifestyle that the brand wants to tell you, wants to bring you on board with, should be your lifestyle. And to express a lifestyle, you need to add things on top of a product, of a nice picture, of a nice story. A lifestyle is something more. But before talking about lifestyle, talking about brand communication, I will take 5 minutes of your time, because I will try to keep you awake and not to see anyone snoring and sleeping. But there is a story to tell, and we have a video where there is somebody that is better than me telling this story, so I will leave the word to this guy, okay? Oops, sorry. Of course, we will talk here about the Harmony chain, but the video is really expressing by itself. Volume? Volume?
Noi siamo un'azienda con una bella storia, abbiamo 58 anni di esperienza, abbiamo fatto prima un percorso industriale durato quasi per 45 anni, ma che continua ancora oggi. Il driver della nostra marca è stata la continua ricerca dell'armonia.
Harmony. This is the dream that has always guided every design and every new creation. The kind of harmony inspired by the land where, almost 60 years ago, it all began. Puglia. With its unique light, contours, and colors. This is the location of the company HQ, the style center, and the production facilities, where Natuzzi Italia's collections are created. A process that is directly managed and controlled throughout every stage. A supply stream that begins and ends with the consumer, the value chain. The starting point is the study of international trends via research that analyzes evolution and innovations in lifestyles, fashion, art, and furniture. In the Style Center, architects, interior decorators, and designers devise new models, new spaces, and new combinations of shapes, materials, and colors in perfect harmony. Next, the designs become prototypes. Prototypes allow the design to be corrected, altered, and perfected before the engineering phase. In the experimental laboratory, each phase of the manufacturing process is optimized in compliance with the strictest quality standards. And finally, in the Italian factories, Natuzzi Italia's creations take shape. Thanks to the moving line, production times and methods have been optimized, importing the principles from the most advanced automobile companies into the furniture sector. Highly skilled craftsmen oversee every stage of the work. They represent unrivaled human and professional capital, developed over 60 years of history.
I guess there is something, the presentation went away, I don't know why. The beauty of life, you know, life is life, that's life. So, are you all good, actually? Okay, so I don't. Do you want me to go back in the video, or maybe I jump it? I will go back. I will actually point it. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
Anni di esperienza, abbiamo fatto prima un percorso industriale durato quasi per 45 anni, ma che continua ancora oggi.
Never mind. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Applause, please. Come on. It's fine. It's fine. Just give me the presentation. That's enough. At least the presentation. Okay, so I will tell about the video. That video tells the story of a company that wants to sell real value to the consumers. How do we do that? We have our own leather tanneries, we have our own polyurethane factories, we have our own woodwork factories. We control the whole process from the study of your needs to the design of the product to the delivery of that product to your house. And we believe that being at the head, on top of each stage of this process, means selling real value to you. So the driver of this whole process, from prototyping to design to the store experience, it's harmony. So what does harmony really believe? We synthesized the concept of harmony in this statement actually. So we blend design, functions, materials, and colors to create harmonious union. Which means that, in a sense, if you get into a Natuzzi store, you will not find contrast in terms of shapes, in terms of color. Everything is so smooth, is natural. The color, the materials, the finishing, the design, everything speaks in harmony with the surrounding and with the customer who wants to get in that space. But moreover, what I want you to focus on is the concept of blending. Blending, contaminating, blending together is something which is really part of our DNA. And blending, so our DNA drives us product design for sure, drives our interior decoration, and drives our brand building. And when we talk about brand building, we talk about a variety of things, which I will deep dive, but very quickly, and which are meant to grow the brand, not into just a leather sofa manufacturer or a sofa brand, but into a real lifestyle brand. So, product design. What does blending, what makes the blending something really unique for Natuzzi? We have our own style center. Years ago, Natuzzi was not designing products. What is happening? I'm not moving anything. Hello? Somebody's doing things that I can do. Wait a second, sorry. Okay. So when we talk about product design, we mean blending for us means contaminating ideas of external designer, the most well-known ones that could come from everywhere in the world, with our internal ones. Because, of course, external designer, there is, no, it's fine, it's fine. External designer, they have their own ideas, they have their own contamination in their world, in their studios. And in some cases, they come from totally different cultures. So they can bring really something new that in Apulia, in Santeramo, in our style center, nobody understands. Like those people from Mario Bellini, it's moving alone, I'm not moving. But we have also a big group of internal designers, young talents, people who know what's the Natuzzi style, what's the most relevant assets, what are the most relevant assets into design for the people in the company. So this blend of external ideas, external talents, and the internal ones creates those lineups of products that we always try to make iconic, innovative, functional, and truly Natuzzi style. In terms of interior design, the concept of harmony, of course, also means putting together materials, shapes, products, functions, which work together in the living room, but truly talk to the customer we're all talking to. So if we talk to a young person, a young millennial, or sophisticated single, we will target him with the products which is of small scale, maybe has a function, of course has a lower price, but in terms of style, we'll have many other accents and products that talk the same language. We are very different from the, I don't know, postmodern or contemporary or minimalistic design, which has a sense of contrast from a shape to the other, but that together lives in harmony. For us, harmony means really blending, creating a family feeling that talks a one language. But in interior decoration, we also do a lot of research, and we have our own style center, which is there. We have almost 40 people, from colorists to interior decorators to designers to architects, which work together in doing a lot of research. But we have also external talents, like in this case, Studio Pepe. This is a studio of just ladies. They are based in Milan. There are 20 ladies in a studio. They're not feminists, but they believe in the power of women, and I believe in the power of women too. So they do a great job. And they do a great job. So then, with the Natuzzi Style Center, together, they blend ideas, they contaminate ideas, creating new concepts. So part of our DNA, unfortunately the video stopped, but it's being Apulia. Apulia is a region pretty much like you. I saw olive trees around. Unfortunately today there is no sun, but very sunny, covered by the sea, very special region, which gives you a lot of inspiration of any kind. From the smell to the perfume to the people around, there is a special energy. So we wanted to create the concept of interior decoration, which we call wall drawing, and takes the shapes of Apulia, the cuts of the sunlight, when there is a specific moment of the day, when the light cuts the shape and creates some magic shadows. Shadows on the walls, shadows on the products, shadows on the nature. So what we wanted to do is create this concept of wall drawing, analyzing the shadows and coloring the shadows. So what we did was studying a campaign that was produced outdoor, so in Apulia, shaping shadows and shaping products under those very unique outlooks. And this was the first one. So you see this concept of how the light could have cutted those shapes, but we colored those shadows. In this case, there was another living group. This is a typical masseria. Those are typical villa structures that we have in the south, that we decided to color in terms of how the sunlight could have had an incidence on the outside of those masserias. And we have this other image. So these are new experimentation of interior decoration, of imagery, of visual, that together with new ideas, new talents, and the DNA of the company inside can really express something new. And this is the last one. This is a typical, actually not typical, this is a trullo saraceno, which is a structure which is something very iconic, part of our DNA that you can only find in Apulia. And that become this. So these are just some concepts, some ideas, some of our latest projects that I want you to show and to evaluate how the DNA of the company, it's what drives every action we do. Being unique, being ourselves, feeling proud, and doing what we were talking about, teamwork. So basically teamwork, it's like the result of being able to put together different ideas, different feelings, different vibes together, blending those and creating something new, something that can be really game-changing and relevant for the people. Then, of course, we talk about brand building. So brand building for us really means contaminate to be contaminated. Why? There are many brands nowadays. If you walk into a fair, Salone del Mobile or whatever fair you go, you see many brands, thousands of products. And in some case, if I look at this chair and I look at that chair and I see those in two different stands, it's tough, even for design community and addictive people to understand the difference. Then you look at the brand and you see, oh yeah, that's the brand. So that's the result, the value, that the meaning of a brand. It's the identity of a brand is what then you try to find within the product, within the communication. So we want to build a community of brand lovers, of people who love the brand. People that one day, I hope you guys, will want to work for the brand, work with the brand, or even buy the brand. But to do that, you really need to express, to interact, to contaminate with the people and share things that if you don't share, one day or the other, you're going to switch to a new one, to a different one. So, in terms of the imagery, if you look at if you take Elle Decor, Wallpaper Magazine, AG, I don't know if we have journalists here, I don't want to offend nobody, but all the magazine, okay? And you scroll the pages, you look at the first 10 double pages, I invite you, go home, cover the brands, then close the magazine and tell which brand is who and which product belongs to who. There is pretty much a like communication. So in some case they tell we are crazy, in some case somebody likes it, but for sure they remember that what we try to do is being different and being unique and having an imagery and advertising which is different, and in some cases unique. So we work, when we do our campaigns, we work with not interior design photographers, but we work with fashion photographers. We think that fashion can have a different outlook on our world. So this is the last we worked with, Joseph Cardo. He's a Apulian, but he made photographies for Vogue, for many fashion brands. And with him, we interpret our iconic being Apulia with the product in our imagery, expressing picture like these. I mean, it's not an interior, it's an outdoor campaign, but that product is for interior. It's a different type of communication. It's something new, something different, but something that really expresses the DNA of the brand. Either you like it or you don't like it, but it's the DNA of the brand. You breathe the DNA of the company here. The color, the sun, the relaxation of the people, the mood, the exact timing, everything talks the Natuzzi language. And then, to be contaminated, to create those experiences, to create a lifestyle which is just not meant to have somebody that says, oh, I want to buy a brown sofa, 3-seater sofa, who should I go to? Let's see, Natuzzi. We want to create experiences with the people which are not just meant to sell and buy and sell. I mean, I think that a brand should give something more to you. So we always do collaborations, events, special editions, and the word of reference that we talk to are, of course, photography, our fashion, our art, and of course, design. In this case, a few months ago, we created a contest within a contest. So Vogue Italia, made a contest on their website asking to the world of photographers, whether they were professional or amateur, to give an interpretation on a specific brief they gave. So I went to Vogue people and I asked, can I do a contest within your contest? And we did a contest setting a new frame, which was called World of Harmony. We wanted people to take pictures with an iPhone, with a camera, with everything they had, take a picture and give their interpretation of what harmony means. And there were some very enthusiastic photographers that gave their outlook on harmony, and we selected those pictures, we made an event with them, and we presented all the photographers. In that case, you see a tiny room, because something we are really studying and deep diving in is, I don't know, here in Istanbul and in Turkey or in your region, but houses in the world are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so the product needs to be. So the concept of small space living is something we really believe in. Many manufacturers keep doing those enormous products for nice villas, but I don't think that you guys, being students with your apartment or your condo, can afford that. So we made that installation saying that small space can create, smaller spaces can create endless possibility of creativity. So what we want to also express is, it was a provocation to the industry to say that we need to think to the new generation, to you guys, and to some tiny spaces and tiny products.